Okay.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here. It's been a little messy to get this round going, but at the very least, we're back. My name is Shmom, and I'm joined here by Toller. Toller, good morning. How are you feeling?
It's morning on the east coast of the United States, so yeah, I'm basically still asleep. That's all that's really going on. Trying not to think about worlds.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's not that close, right?
I think it's like some number of days. I'm trying to think about how many, right?
Yeah. It's just like that. But honestly, I'm very happy to have you here with us. A week at very well as well.
Why would you say that? What are you trying to do? Is it horror movie?
Randomly, I don't know. Just a feeling, it just happens from time to time. But references aside, let's go look at who we're spectating. It's Kakudon versus Papamusa. Kakudon has the option for a win in still, while Papamusa doesn't, but they're still playing as well.
Yeah, Papamusa has the opportunity to play spoiler here and make it so Kakudon can't make it to cut. Which is, for some people, a special sort of joy.
Okay, but this is actually the first Raichu we're featuring today, because there were only 4 Raichus in this whole tournament, and I was kind of surprised about that, because it seemed like Raichu was pretty good, coming on pretty strong in a lot of tournaments, and then suddenly everyone was like, you know what, nah, I'm picking.
Well, I don't know if I feel the same way. I mean, if we looked at the Victory Road tournament that happened very recently, the big one with the day 2 and all that, Dalstoy's won that one in the end. Big Six is good, but was kind of even in usage with a lot of other archetypes, so it feels like the metagame is sort of settling into a very diverse place, where it's not all Raichu, where it was for one tournament. It's not all Big Six. It's not all, Charizard flavor of the week. It's sort of like a very strange mix of 10% of every team, at least from my perspective. And in that case, 4 or 5 Raichus kind of makes sense, given that Raichu really is only played on 1 or 2 teams. Notably, no Farigiraf on Kakudon's version.
That's honestly fair to say. Kakudon's team, I've played it a bit. I really like it, but I've been playing it with a Farigiraf, I seem to recall. There's Whimsicott with a Charm, right? This is a little bit different from the norm.
Yeah, much more aggressive take. Maybe this is closer to Makushitara, or Hamon, excuse me. I've been playing the game too long. Hamon's take on the team for Victory Road, where I recall he also made it more offensive. I guess I should check that before I jump to conclusions.
No, I think you're right. But the players are ready. So let's take a look at this final Swiss round as well. These players ready to go, raring to go. I hope. Right, yes I did. Oh, let's go. Alright, Incineroar and King Gambit from Papamusa's side. On the other end we have Raichu and Sylvia. One of the things that I really love in general about Raichu is like the support system that it can give with Fake Out, but also being able to just Focus Blast those nasty King Gambits.
Yeah, Focus Blast, effective into both of these Pokemon, and I think it's also important to note, let's see, did that Incineroar have Throat Chop? Because that would be relevant in this case.
That's a good question. I am gonna look real quick.
I'll look. Okay, so it's Helping Hand over Throat Chop.
Helping Hand over Throat Chop, exactly.
So I think really important note about Raichu, even though you could Focus Blast right away, you also have the option of throwing down Zap Cannons and then making it so Sylveon can go before the opponent. And while that doesn't work into Garchomp, Sylveon is very good at clearing away Garchomp. So there's a lot of room here for Kakudon to take an aggressive position early after this opening protects.
Yeah. So opening protects, just scouting out. It's the turn before the decision. I'm trying to look as well at the team composition of Kakudon as well, where their King Gambit is also, of course, the live orb set, but I am expecting them to be quite fast as well.
I think that really depends. On this sort of team, you're often very specially defensive on the Gambit, even if you are life orb, to play better into opposing Floette. In case you have to run into that situation where they're also CM Floette, but faster than you, or they're timid Floette on Big Six or something like that, you kind of need to use the Gambit to your advantage. I think the main question right now, these two players are posturing carefully. We saw the protects, is what Mega did Papamusa bringing the back, and what Mega and how is Kakudon planning on handling that early in the game? Because Incineroar and King Gambit are great, but they're just appetizers compared to Floette or maybe Garchomp.
Just a second. There's a match issue. I'm gonna let you talk for a second.
Oh no!
Go ahead.
What am I even gonna say?
Well, you do great.
Okay.
Evolution, you know.
Yeah. Raichu's Mega Evolving here, so this is an opportunity. No Guard is now in effect, so Zap Cannon and Focus Blast both on the table. Zap Cannon actually going to be what goes into the King Gambit. This combo, Zap Cannon and Hyper Voice, should almost always be enough to KO it, maybe even through the parting shot. So now we're going to see Sylveon action. Sylveon is actually faster than Incineroar. That clears away Gambit right away and gets an additional 50% onto Incineroar, but it was a critical hit and still only did 50%, which is a little surprising. Sylveon taking half damage from Flare Blitz, which maybe given the low damage from Hyper Voice, that's not as surprising as it might have been otherwise. Or maybe it's a very, very especially bulky Incineroar. And now we're in the position following where King Gambit has been knocked out, and Incineroar has taken additional damage, and Sylveon has only taken a Flare Blitz in recompense. So this is definitely still tricky for both players, but you can say that Kakudon probably is pretty happy with this position, given they're just trying to clear the way and prevent Papamusa from creating an unwinnable or an unbeatable advantage later in the game. Let's see. Are you back yet, Shimon?
Yeah, this position seems like quite easy for the Raichu and the Sylveon to just protect both ends here. Incineroar being slower than the Sylveon is a little bit awkward, I want to say, because as you mentioned earlier, like at least like you can get some fast damage off of Incineroar, but now go.
Oh, here's Helping Hand.
Okay.
That goes before Protect. So we still get to see it. It is Zap Cannon before Sneasler can move, and that's standard. Raichu is faster than Sneasler by default. So Sneasler gets paralyzed. Is Sylveon now faster? No!
Okay, I was fully expecting it to be faster. I was wrong?
Yeah. Well, it is Jolly Sash Sneasler from Papamusa. So Jolly goes up to 189 divided by 2, a little under 90, which means that Sylveon is probably at like 87 or 88 speed stat, basically. I think that's the right math.
I want to say yes. I'm not big on the math. I have one of those.
Sorry, I'm playing at a world championship shortly, and I need to know my math.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I know ranges. I'm good at ranges. I'm generally not there, man. There's a reason why I'm not at Worlds here. Might be a small.
Oh no! It's actually crazier than that. Sorry, I did the math wrong. I did 189 like it was 179. Sneasler Jolly max speed divided by 2 is hitting 94. So that's Sylveon is slower than 94, which is very normal.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Wait, yeah,
okay.
Sylveon hits 90. Yeah, just damage hit 98. No, 105. Adamant max speed. Okay.
Adamant max speed Gambit is 102. 102.
Anyway, Helping Hand Incineroar going with the.
Yeah, here we go. Bonk. But quick attack Sylveon.
Oh, it still survived.
Does not clear. That is a really bulky Incineroar. It just had a leftovers recovery too.
Yeah.
Moonblast still did a lot though.
I mean, the
This one's
Intimidate
got
on the Sylveon working out. But
I always have that thought when I intimidate the Sylveon.
Yeah.
It's like, it could be a little better than I think, but of course Incineroar is still getting taken out by its partner to make sure that Sylveon goes down. Damage within the Wimp's got it. This looks pretty wrapped up for Kakudon.
It seems pretty rough because, whatever is in the back, you still have a Tailwind Setter being able to outspeed the Garchomp, even just a Moonblast. I'm sure it is going to be able to be enough. Arcanine now being the last Pokemon of choice does give Papamusa a little bit of information what Kakudon might be planning to bring in the next game as well. Do you, at times, when you have like a Sylveon, right, have you ever thought about not running Modest, but rather going like Naive or something?
Naive. I thought about Quiet.
Quiet?
I
mean, Quiet, yeah.
Especially on Trick Room teams, but you don't drop your own quick attack damage. I think, let's see, it's very important for Sylveon to be capable of taking hits. I mean, as we saw, the fact that it has such a low base speed actually is very important for how it interacts with the rest of the game. You almost always take a hit before you move, or use Zap Cannon beforehand and avoid taking the damage. But it's hard to get speed control for Sylveon. So
in
you
this,
have to be able to
this
take that.
specific instance, you don't want to run like quiet, I feel, especially when you have
No, not on Tailwind.
no,
Yeah.
not on Tailwind and with the Zap Cannon for speed control as well. But yeah, I've not seen like I can't remember if I've done it, but I know that I've thought about it about like why am I not running quiet or naive Sylveon for some reason.
Well, you think about the proportional benefit of doing something like that, right? Like you get 10% more damage specifically on quick attack.
Yeah, it's powerful. I'm not
So you
hearing
go
any-
from 6%
I'm not hearing any
to
downsides.
you're adding 2 or 3 damage to your quick attack. Like it might be quote unquote optimal, but you know you probably pay a bigger price in terms of speed. Say gambits that are uninvested in speed or nearly uninvested in speed, you start tying with quiet, for example.
Yeah.
Because you hit 72, and since we can't manipulate IVs in this game, you can't run min speed Sylveon to guarantee you're slower than Gambit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty rough. That would be quite nice to Trick Room. So I think the opportunity cost of having the speed, it's sort of this question that I'm always considering in building nowadays. Am I making a specific choice that makes my general situations much worse? Right?
Yeah.
Am I making quiet as a choice to add 2 damage to my quick attacks, but
Does
making
that
my
help me in the
Gambit matchup
overall
average
yeah.
Gambit matchup? Yeah, if they're
Makes
not running
sense.
that much speed.
But
Yeah.
it just to me it's just like it's funny.
It is funny. Yeah.
It is funnier. Like when you're like, oh yeah, this doesn't kill. And suddenly there's a physical Sylveon with last resort. Oh, cool.
Oh, oops.
Oh, that happened. Oh, I mean, that happened
Yeah.
literally to me on ladder, so you know.
A lot of things happen to people on ladder. Yeah, I just imagine whenever Sylveon uses quick attacks, like, oh, I'm sorry. How? Like, that's modest. I'm sorry, it wasn't that strong. No,
My
it
bad.
wasn't.
Excuse me. Okay, so back again with the leads. This time Raichu. We already know that Raichu is faster than Sneasel, so it is able to go for a fake out before the Sneasel at the very least.
But now Floette's on the board.
But now Floette's on the board, exactly.
This is
As,
super interesting.
It does provide some good offense in that regard. It's not. It is the Calm Mind set, so you are expecting it be a bit more bulky. But as long as you Mega Evolve, you're also gonna boost that Sylveon at the same time.
Well,
So,
that's the trick, right?
yeah.
People
That
know
quick
me for
attack
playing
really hurting right now.
People know me for playing a lot of Gardevoir, but one of the fun features of Gardevoir is that you're playing a non-Floette fairy type into Floette. And one thing that you learn is that the really good Calm Mind Floette players just don't Mega Evolve their Floettes in front of you so that they don't boost your fairy damage. And they still have a lot of special defense, though. Calm Mind like that, and your Hyper Voices won't deal as much to both Floette and its partner. But Papamusa seems to think that's silly, and Zap Cannon does too much damage to not have the boost in special defense, so they go ahead and Mega Evolve.
Okay, so sorry, I just can't over the fact of like, wow, this is strong, this quick attack. But Raichu just going for the raw Zap Cannon immediately. Sneasel also not going for that takeout. Rather going for that back claw, making sure that Sylveon has been dealt some good damage there. Sylveon being able to survive, but going for Yawn instead, so double up onto that bullet. So very good defensive play by Papamusa.
I think-
the Floette, right?
Yeah, avoided got the call right at least, but Mega Evolving the Floette was wrong there. Like,
Yeah.
let's not sugarcoat it. You're protecting, and you have a Sinistra in the back. You might want to protect from Yawn or Zap Cannon later using Flower Veil, and shutting off both of those somehow. I think is actually like a slight optimization that Papamusa could have pursued. Just Mega Evolve protect. Obviously, since you're not attacking, you don't need the Fairy Aura boost, so why give it to Sylveon? That said, I don't think it would have changed very much of the game if that had happened. Quick attack.
See, the powerful
Whoa,
quick
Fairy
attack.
Aura!
I'm just saying, you wouldn't have had that kind of damage. You could have had more. But now the nice thing about Zap Cannon, of course, is you have that chance for paralysis. You're seeing the pull coming into that Raichu slot, and it will just be able to knock it out. So that helping hand earlier from that Incineroar, not needed, honestly.
Yeah, most Raichu run a lot of HP and physical defense and drop their special attack to make it happen. But this Raichu in particular, not that excited about that prospect and has decided to just be vulnerable to CCs like that. Of course, it has a very low base defense, it's not surprising. But seeing Sneasler take it down in one shot like that really flips the game on its head.
The Syrian Arcanine and the Women's God, now you have the speed advantage with a potential tailwind. You have the Sash broken already onto the Sneasler, being able to just do good damage. Honestly, okay, you are Whimsicott. You aren't the Sash set. You aren't max speed, max push attack. But a Moonblast onto a defensive Floette could still deal very much good damage. The issue is that Sneasel
probably around 35%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do like this switch here right now for going into that signature, trying to make sure that the Floette survives at least for another turn.
Well, here's the question. I mean, do you even want to play the rest of the game through Floette? I mean, you're staring down Hisuian Arcanine and Whimsicott. Wow. Moonblast with Fairy very powerful. You're staring down Hisuian Arcanine and Whimsicott. I think the main thing is that you just kind of want the Floette to go down here and generate a more aggressive position with your Sneasler, actually. But that isn't what has happened, and now Floette is healthy, and honestly, the Dazzling Gleam's pretty valuable, so what do I know? That did a lot of damage to Whimsicott.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised how much it did. It is the Yokaberry set, because you're keeping the Sash on the Arcanine, so it is a bit more, I would assume,
curious.
Defensive.
I'm quite curious. What would that
This is where the numbers come in, where I'm like, oh, now I'm interested, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like you have to have a certain amount of bulk with Akaberry to take, for example, like Weather Ball with Light Screen. But maybe the thing that Kakudon has done here is actually drop the speed to just run more special attack. Because doing 50% to a Sinistcha, even with very rare, or it's a very physically defensive Sinistcha, I guess that's also a possibility. And now it feels like the game is in a completely different position. I mean, Floette didn't go down at the right time, Sneasler wasn't in the right spot, and now Arcanine has gotten the opportunity to attack. And there's a real world where Kakudon is tailwinding and flare blitzing the Sneasler to victory.
Yeah, what is the last Pokemon remaining? Is it going to be that instant? No, Garchomp.
Oh,
actually.
Garchomp is perfect here. Yeah,
Garchomp is actually really good. Because it is also the. Wait, it is Mega, right? Yeah, it is the Mega Garchomp.
It's Mega.
So it
Double
gets,
ground rock.
It gets some bulk as well. And Arcanine doesn't really have good stat moves to do a lot of that. Like, it does still decent damage to Garchomp, don't get me wrong, but it's not as. Like, Garchomp resisting.
Not crazy. Yeah, it's interesting. Now that we have this position, it's kind of easy for Papamusa to just take out the Whimsicott, which has no protect, with Fake Out and Stopping Tantrum even. You don't have to Earthquake yourself, and then Garchomp can solo the Arcanine for the rest of the game, but decides to risk it with a Rock Slide miss.
Ooh.
Okay, no miss this time.
I had a full second where I was like, oh, are you missing?
Yeah.
That's the one fear I have a lot of times where I'm clicking Rock Slide as well, and I know that it's important. It's Rock Slide gives and Rock Slide takes, honestly.
It's true, it's true. Although in that position in particular, you don't actually change the damage thresholds on the Arcanine, right? You're one-shotting it with a ground move no matter what happens.
Yeah, I think that one was pretty clear to try and go for a Stomping Tantrum, but maybe Papamusa see something else. You know?
The macroscopic plan worked very well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk adaptation. What can be an adaptation for either players? First off, not megaing your Floette when
that's the small things, right? This is what happens when you prep for Worlds, is you notice all the small stuff that everyone's like, why do you even care?
Just like we saw how much that quick attack did on its own, and that was modest, by the way. So just saying, like, this is very important counts that we need to remember from time to time as well.
I think I like the decision.
I do think in the position where it was Floette plus Sneasel's Sash was broken, but it was still relatively healthy. If you had switched out the Floette, for example, the Moonblast would have targeted the Sneasel, wouldn't have KO'd it, but then again, another play is what could have happened with Tailwind plus Flare Blitz into the Sneasel with that Arcanine, which is very much also like similar play, similar game plan.
I really want to think about it from the really high level view, right? Yeah. The thing that really worked well for Papamusa that game was the decision to roll out with Floette early in the game, and sort of have a more defensive plan versus Sylveon having Sneasler right away to Dire Claw the Sylveon as needed. We know that it's going to outspeed after Zap Cannon even, so having that sort of safe opportunity to Dire Claw. Sylveon's a big damage threat if Fairy is active, but if you've taken it out, then obviously it can't deal any damage. So having immediate offensive pressure and then using Sylveon to sort of generate a little bit of momentum actually makes a lot of sense to me. The question for me is mostly, since Kakudon decided to go for this more aggressive plan again in Game 2, whether they need to adapt to deal with the fact that Papamusa has resources to be able to offensively threaten the important pieces for clearing away threats on Papamusa's side. So Sylveon is, of course, good against Garchomp, good against Floette. Is there a way to keep that Sylveon alive later in this game?
Yeah, especially like it's a lot of the times I do feel like decision making and especially your leads are so important in these, especially in this format. And right now
it's Raichu and Arcanine.
Have an adaptation.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Now you have Zap Cannon and Flare Blitz and the Sneasler to KO it right away, and there's not a speed problem there. But of course, if you do that, Floette is going to take its time setting up in the background.
Yep. Arcanine. I was trying to see the nature, but I keep going through the team sheets without the nature, so I don't know. But the Floette is modest, and Arcanine is adamant, I believe.
Yeah, I'll check.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Jolly Arcanine.
Jolly Arcanine. So we know the Arcanine is outspeeding the Floette, so you do have the option to potentially fake out the Sneasler and safely go for any kind of move with Arcanine onto either of the slots, for example, because your Raichu is the fastest Pokemon in the field in that case. So, double Mega here. Now, will there be any sort of fake out shenanigans happening or just a raw Zap Cannon?
These are fake outs.
Okay.
Yeah, well, this can be fine because you can still go for Zap Cannon and Flare Blitz, and no matter what, you either chunk the Sneasler to Sash with Flare Blitz or Zap Cannon if fake out goes off, and if Zap Cannon hits, you'll outspeed with Arcanine later, and if Flare Blitz hits, you'll still outspeed with Raichu, and then you can start hitting the Floette with your Arcanine. So it's kind of the Sneasler has no particular option to attack safely, especially even Floette's not ready to take any KOs without a boost.
Yeah.
The main thing here is so Sneasler's under threat, and actually it doesn't have Protect, it has Coaching. That means that no matter what, if Sneasler stays on the board, it can get KO'd by either Arcanine or Raichu. The sort of natural play to make in this case, if you're just attacking the board and not attacking the back, is you can Zap Cannon the Floette and Rock Slide, and that way you KO the Sneasler always, but you also introduce flinch chances and paralysis chances on the Floette and control its speed. Looks like we're starting off with Zap Cannon.
Yeah, Zap Cannon lowering the speed again, so Arcanine definitely outspeeding everything. Intimidate will lower its attack, but still, this is Arcanine is
Flare Blitz into Sneasler.
Flare Blitz onto the Incineroar, good switch there on that Incineroar slot there, but now the Floette is able to move it also, but it's going for yet again another Calm Mind, so trying to play the long game despite the paralysis. You don't have the speed anymore, but now you're trying to bulk everything out and just recover as much health as you can with Draining Kiss.
It's super interesting to see the Flare Blitz there. I know I mentioned the Rock Slide, and I don't think Flare Blitz is necessarily wrong, but the thing that Kakudon is doing there is controlling for variance, right? Not clicking a move that has the chance to miss. But because Kakudon felt ahead enough that they didn't have to click a move that they could miss, that meant that, it's Head Smash E-Speed, not Rock Slide, right? I'm silly.
That's
I always think it has Rock Slide.
I'm also used to it being Rock Slide a lot of times, where I'm always like, oh, you're right, yeah, no, Rock Slide.
Yeah. Throws me off. But you also have the option to, for example, Head Smash the Sneasler to cover the Incineroar switch, and chose not to do that.
Yeah.
So Raichu's going to protect Whimsicott is on the board now.
Okay, I like the Whimsicott switch because initially you're thinking that.
Whoa!
What? 3? Now we're getting too greedy. What do you need 3 for?
Have Encore? This Whimsicott does in fact have Encore. We have some problems there, Shmon.
Yeah, Whimsicott and Encore and Charm. This Whimsicott has it all right now, except for Protect, of course. We saw that in the earlier game, but now because you have Encore, I suppose you tried to kill with Flare Blitz, but you still have a very strong Focus Blast to walk through coming out from this Raichu. Actually, it's going for the
Zap Cannon.
Okay.
Saying, I can't KO with Focus Blast because I know that you took half from a critical hit in Hyper Voice earlier. So I really want to prevent your Parting Shot to get another Fake Out in play, but actually it's not Parting Shot, it's Flare Blitz. And if Whimsicott takes this, which it will because of the Aqua Berry, Floette is now just going to get Encore. There's no way around it. The
legendary
ideal play
double.
pattern there is, it's Protect Switch to Fake Out to avoid the Encore, but that's not. It's gonna be pretty hard, as you say.
This is just very hard in this position-wise. I think Papamusa might have forgotten that the Whimsicott is carrying Encore, or maybe in a position.
Or the Aqua Berry.
Yeah, the Aqua Berry especially, because you don't see it that often on Whimsicott. So sometimes you're used to it being Sash all the time, but right now, showcasing why Aqua Berry is actually doing pretty well.
And so Floette has now set up CM 3 times and then switched. If those had all been Dazzling Gleams, I think Papamusa would be in a different position. Raichu would be KO'd, for example.
You know, sometimes you don't see the board quite well when you're in it as opposed to out of it. That's why we're not playing, we're just casting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, that and the time zones. Yeah. But that's sort of the interesting risk if you're learning these sorts of teams at home. If you set up the combines, it feels nice to set them up, but you have to be really cognizant of what your opponent's counterplay is going to be very far in advance. You need to be thinking, if Whimsicott is in the back there, how am I going to handle it if it switches in this turn, next turn, turn after? And it looks like Papamusa got caught unawares by Encore, which makes sense because Whimsicott, Shimon, is a prankster.
Oh yeah, he's a prankster. I'm generally trying to see. I was trying to think of what maybe Papamusa has in the back still to try and deal with the remainder of the team, because we know it's probably Sylveon in the back. Garchomp can do pretty well against things like the Raichu, like if the Whimsicott is gone, pretty good. But right now, not really a lot of options being given to Papamusa, so Zapcannon being able to KO there and paralysis.
Oh, the 10% paralysis. Yeah, a little bit insult to injury there. Obviously, without any boost, that Floette wasn't threatening too much, aside from a little damage into Raichu, really, given that Arcanine resists everything. Yeah. So this is brutal no matter how you slice it. But yeah, insult to injury there on that paralysis.
I do like. I think Kakudon approaches correctly. I think Papamusa's idea was to try and get that Sylveon set up, like having the double fake out to make sure that at least the Whimsicott wasn't able to encore it, because I can very much see the Floette doing a lot of damage and a lot of potential with it.
Yeah. If it had gotten to attack.
The right tools, of course, next to it.
Yeah, if it had gotten to attack, that Raichu would have been out of commission. The Whimsicott would have been out of commission, and if Arcanine couldn't take some KOs, I think the whole team would have been out of commission. So Whimsicott came in at just the right time to start putting on pressure with Encore.
Yeah.
There's Dazzling Gleam, unboosted. Pretty reasonable attack, I think. Not at all the same ridiculous attack as +3 Dazzling Gleam.
We've seen Light of Ruin. We're used to Light of Ruin.
You're right. You're right.
Like that. It's absurd the amount of damage that it can do, but like one Calm Mind just as well can put Floette like on those stages of threatening Pokemon and having the bulk. Just being a fairy type is really good, and then having the spirit of Xerneas compel you as well with Fairy Aura does help you a lot, I feel.
I want to be clear with you, Shimon. Mega Floette does things that Xerneas could not do on turn 1.
No.
Light of Ruin is not Xerneas Fairy Aura Moonblast.
Yeah.
It's a stronger attack.
Yeah, it has more special attack as well. Okay, so it's not. It doesn't have the spirit. It's like Xerneas' daughter coming out and saying, "I'm better than you right now." The only reason it would have been absolutely better if it also had Geomancy, and dang, the RC is that it doesn't.
Well, it would have needed Geomancy and some like special ability to serve Power Herb, right? Because it can't hold Power Herb. I mean, it would be interesting if it got Geomancy, but you had to choose between Mega and Power Herb. I think Power Herb is a better Mega Stone.
Yeah, that's fair actually. I am not clear on mine. They have been stacking abilities anyway. Give it the Blood Moon or Saluna, please. Just give it everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they saw how much players like me miss Xerneas because I'm a grade A hater who enjoyed playing Xerneas. And they gave us Floette as compensation, which is not as good, frankly. But I'll live with it.
To me, it's always it was very satisfying to see like people experience a little bit what Xerneas was. When Floette was released, like switching in their Corviknight and then after one Calm Mind still taking 60. I'm like, yeah. I miss her. I should give her a call.
My dear. Yeah, no, it's a little crazy. Well, I mean, we've seen similar strategies to the usual fake out follow me Xerneas strategy 1,000 times in Pokemon. From everything from CM Bolt to CM Pagos. But the trick with Xerneas was always how fast it was, in addition to being very bulky and very strong. So, yeah. CM Floette doesn't quite do all of that. It's not boosting its own speed, but it sure does do some damage.
It absolutely does. I fully agree. But with that, we can go for a small break. as we are making ourselves ready for Top Gun. So stick around. We'll be back shortly. In a bit. Pick up the button, and there we go.